All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. It is 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and why do I keep doing that? I swear to God, I don't even realize. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Chris and Brandy, they're Facebook friends. I really appreciate both your support. Honestly, I do. It's people like you that are helping this channel grow. Carico's Funny Videos. Carico's Funny Videos. They have a YouTube channel. They're just starting, and he just wants to post funny stuff. And I hope you guys go and check it out. He's only got a few subscribers, he says, but he's just starting, and it's gonna be like just posting like birds and cats or funny stuff. I hope I got that right. I hope I got that right, Chris. Anyway, so Marta, my wife. Yeah, I'm wearing this. And Mom, yeah, wearing this. 3 of these exact same. I can't stress that enough. My wife told me, make sure if you're going to do videos today, I told her I was going to do several, put on different clothes. I think I'm going to put 3 of these on. Anyway, Marta stopped by the store and buy more clothes. I got like 14 shirts, I think. Okay, so look at. I'm going to talk about, well, what was the first one? I was going to do Sharna. No, I'm going to talk about the first time I shot dope, the first time I did heroin. Yeah, that's where I'm going first. All right, let's get with it. So, born and raised San Pedro, California, grew up during the cocaine 80s. And I say that because coke was plentiful then. It was cheap and everybody was doing it. I started using drugs early. First hit of a joint like at 8 years old. The first line of coke, 13. Smoked pot regularly from the 9th grade on. Started doing coke. Smoked a little freebase or crack in the 10th grade. So I had a drug history. You know, I started doing drugs young. I want to say something right now so bad, but that's on a personal level to take some digs at a few people. But I'm not. Okay, so I was a cocaine snorter. So like I never shot it. Well, I smoked it when I was 15, freebase, crack, whatever. Never used a needle. My crowd that I ran with, needle was taboo. Didn't know people that used needles. Actually, one of my connects brothers did, and he was like shunned from most people. But I didn't personally know people that were using needle, and if we did, nobody would run with you, hang around with you in the crowd I was from. I grew up surfing. San Pedro's a blue collar town, hard working town, really. Most people are construction workers, longshoremen, and stuff like that. And that was the crowd of people that I sold drugs to, or rich people from Marylest, Palos Verdes, South Bay, etc. So my point being, I guess I say all this because needles was like off the table, okay? And so was heroin. Like, you did heroin, man, you were just scum of the earth. So anyway, I did time in Arkansas. That was the first state prison system I went to, and I was clean during that year. I think I took a pill once down at Cummins, some kind of ding biscuit, psych pill. I don't even remember what the hell it was. But otherwise, I was clean the first time I went to prison that year. I was just trying to get out and go home to my family. First wife had other plans. But anyway, so I was clean. 1995, California got a governor's warrant for my arrest. I had got arrested in Catalina Island in 1989. Got a probation violation from that charge, 4 years. Big mess. I went to Arkansas, did prison time. California's kept putting governor's warrants. Putting warrants on me. And Arkansas would not honor those warrants most of the time. They would give me fugitive bonds. Finally, the governor signed a warrant and they came and got my ass. It was a drug charge, like I said. It was my first drug charge. So, 1995, 1996, I ended up in Chino. Because of all the warrants that I had and fugitive bonds that I had, somebody somewhere in the system put that I was an escapee, so I was locked down in Chino Central for 7 months in Madrone Hall. A couple people have sent me messages saying that they've been inside of Chino, so they understand. I was locked down the whole time. You get out for yard like 3 days a week, shower 2 or 3 times a week, and it was cold water only. That was nice. After that, they sent me within the Chino facility complex, whatever you call it, to CIM or Chino Institution for Men. It's like a level 1, 2 yard, Camp Snoopy yard back in the day. Tennis courts, they had a swimming pool. They just shut down the swimming pool when I got there. They kept drowning people in the swimming pool. They also had like underwater classes. Back in the day, California had a lot of really, really good programs. I think they're starting again, I'm not sure. But guys were getting out of prison with underwater welding license and making, 50 to 100 grand a year. It was a good program. Anyway, I went to Chino, and the first day I got there, some Nazi lowriders pulled up on me and gave me street liquor. That was because when I was over in Central, I ran the kitty. The kitty for the whites, the kitty is every white guy that goes to the store has to kick down 10%. And they pitch in tobacco, shower, shoes, soap, etc. And then you pass it out to the new guys that come in, or in regards to the tobacco, you make sure every white cell had 2 cigarettes or 4 cigarettes per meal. And I did that. I did like a really good job with the kitty, and there's people that remembered that. So when I got there, I was hooked up. Like, boom, these guys saw me. Hey, there's Rob. Man, thank you for the kitty. I appreciate it. Boom, here's some street liquor. Boom. Okay, so that started it. That same day, dude pulled out a syringe that was loaded with meth and asked me if I wanted it. And I'm like, no, I didn't do needles, but a syringe already ready to go. It's like, maybe he's trying to kill me, whatever. And I just wasn't a needle guy. So I did start doing meth in Chino a little bit. And it was cool. I was on a bunk bed, so, but I would get high and go to work, and I worked in the hospital. I was a medical clerk, and around a lot of nurses. And I'll tell you what we did most of the day. We typed ducats. So California, there's ducats. They're little pieces of paper, and you send ducats. You type these ducats out and you send them to the units. They tape them on the wall, and then if you have like a medical call out, you have to grab the ducat. So when you walk into medical, you hand over the ducat, and they'll see what your appointment is, what time your appointment, who you're supposed to see, etc. So I typed ducats, soft shoes. If somebody wanted soft shoes, you can pay me, $20, and I get you what's called a soft shoe chrono. That way you can go to visitation with soft shoes or lower bunk pass. We schemed and scammed all day, and stole syringes, dirty syringes. So we can, out of the HIV and Hep C bucket now, before everybody says, oh, you fucking scumbag, we sold what's called hot syringes. So those were cheaper. We bleached them out. You put them in bleach. You rinse them out and you sell them. So guys knew that. We actually put them in hot water and stuff, and then let them soak in bleach and blah, blah, blah. Messes up the plunger, but whatever. But those were cheap, or we got new syringes. Made a lot of money inside Chino doing that shit. But yeah, you think about that. I mean, literally there was guys with AIDS in the hospital and like Hep C that were dying, and there was this red trash can. We'd snatch the trash can and dump it in the sink, and you had to watch getting poked. Never got poked, thank God. It's crazy to think about it now, though, the risks, huh? But anyway, so when we sold those syringes to guys, like, you'd say this is a hot syringe. They knew, and the new ones would come in packages. They're like $40, I think. The other ones were 20. Anyway, there came a day when there was a Mexican guy who was going home. This guy was married. His wife used to come up for conjugal visits, but he had a girlfriend on the side. And what he did was he told his wife like he was going to go home on like Tuesday, but it was really leaving Monday. So he had the girlfriend pick him up. Well, he was also a heroin dealer, a well-known heroin dealer in the joint. And for whatever reason, he didn't have like a nice watch. Back then, I don't know how California is now, we were able to get packages sent in to us. The packages would include canned food, clothes. I think there were 35 pounds back then, or was it 70? think during the holidays they were more. So for example, my mom would send me like tuna, sausage, jeans, tennis shoes, and she sent me this watch. This watch, you're not supposed to have a watch over $100. Of course, she sent kind of an expensive watch. I want to say it was like $400 or $500 watch, but said it was worth $100. And I paused because she sent watches twice, and this watch I'm gonna talk about might have been the $100 watch. I'm sorry. Anyway, the guy who's the Mexican guy who sold dope peeped my watch. He sees me walking with it. He's like, "Hey Holmes, I'll give you a quarter gram or something of dope for it." I didn't do heroin. I'm like, "Nah, man, it's cool." And he's like, "I'll give you." No, he said papers first. And then he's like, "I'll give you this. I'll give you." And then I'll give you a gram for it. Now, I went and found out that a gram was like $250, $300 of tar. Never seen tar, never, But when he said a gram, and I knew this watch, and I can just have my mom send another one on the next one. Yeah, so I went for it. Took the watch off. He gave me a gram, which was in a little balloon. It was hard rock glass tar. It wasn't sticky wet. And I remember, like, I didn't really know what to do with it. My cellie was a junkie. He got high a lot. Really didn't want to tell him because he owed people money. In California, the money situation was a lot different than in the feds. It was serious shit. You owe somebody commissary. You went to store once a month. I think we only drew like $150. I think guys that have done CDC time back in the 90s can correct me. I'm a J number, by the way. And if you were going to get money street to street, that is, if I was going to buy some dope and send it to some people's money, like have my people send their people the money, you got 10 days to do it. 10 days. And if you didn't, it was on. You get stomped out. So I have a gram. I'm not like some wood convict type of dude. I was, like I said, I was a medical clerk. I was white in California, which meant that I had to be there for the, whites. But most guys in the CDC run around with their prison face, get the handlebar mustache, and I didn't do all that. I've had a goatee on off my whole life. And I started shaving my head, number one, back then when I actually had hair. That's when I started actually shaving my head, was in California, and I never grew it back. And I used to go bald, actually, from 27 on. I'd go skin tight with the razor. That's before I lost my hair. So anyway, so I wasn't kicking it with the fellas, and guys that have been there know what I'm talking about. I was more on alone time. If I had to be there or something, like I said, I was. Drank sometimes with them on the weekends, but most of the time I was by myself, or I hung out with one of the other clerks. His name was Tim. He was a guy that was going to be a lawyer that lost his law license, or failed along the way, whatever. And kid, his name was Robert. Also, he was a Sereno from Orange County. We kicked it a lot too during the daytime. So I knew that kid, who I worked with, got high. I actually was now curious to do some heroin after I got it. Prior to this, I didn't want to. That's like, to me back then, I was like, you can't fall no lower. That's like when you hit the ground is when you do heroin. That's it. It's over, gutter hype. So I wanted to do it, but I wanted to snort it, and I knew you can snort it. I just didn't know how. I didn't know how much. I didn't want to die. You hear about heroin, people die. I didn't want to die. I just had some heroin, and now I got to sell it, and I wanted to make some extra money. And I was doing a little bit of meth at the time, and I think I owed out a lot of my commissary. That's what it really was too. Now that I think about it. So I go to my dude, kid. I'm 25, 26 at the time. 26. Kid's 23, 24. It was on a Wednesday. I'll never forget this. I roll up on him and I said, "Hey, what can you do with some heroin?" He stops. "Hey, you got dope? Oh, homie, I'm dope sick." He starts like playing it like he needs a shot now. And it was a Wednesday because of visits. Visits were on Monday too, I think. And lot of guys that got high would shoot dope, on like Monday, and then like by Wednesday they weren't feeling good. Anyway, so he asked me if I got some. First, I kind of denied it. I just like, no, I can get it. And then finally, I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh man, go get it, go get it. I'm like, I can't leave right now. He's like, no, fuck that. I'll go tell Miss Lassiter, the RN in charge, make up some bullshit. So I ran back to my dorm, Redwood Hall. I grabbed my shit out of my locker, walked across the compound, and I didn't tell him how much I had. And when I showed it to him, you got a gram. Hey, he was like so happy. He's like, oh, let's go get it. I said, hold on. I want you to hook me up. I just want to snort. He's like, yeah, no, you got to shoot it, Rob. And I'm like, no, I just want to snort some, man. I don't want to. He's like, you're not going to fucking die, fool. So we made up some excuse to go to East Hall, I think it was called. It's the cell block. Chino has one or two units that was cell blocks at the time. The rest were all open dorms. So we go over there, and there's a Sereno that they called the doctor. Imagine that. So I've got the dope on me. We walk inside the block. Cop asks us why we're there. We got these medical tickets. We're clerks, blah, blah, blah. Walk in the unit. So we walk in the dude's cell. Robert said something in Spanish. And I never learned how to speak Spanish. I grew up around Mexicans. My wife's a Spaniard. And I never learned anyway. So they said whatever they said. Probably, let's beat this white boy. That's probably what they said. Dude looks at me. So they say, all right, you got to keep point. And I'm like, all right. They're like, well, let's have the gram. I'm like, hold on now. I'm not a fucking duck, So he's like, how much do we need for 3 shots? Or, I want him to hook me up with the snort and what you guys are going to do. So they cut off a little chunk. I'm sure it probably equated to 2 shots apiece for them and whatever I got. Because it was, they took something healthy from me for sure. Anyway, so now they say, hey, go keep point. And I'm like, key point? And they're like, yeah, you watch there. And really, Rob had a key point on this corner. I had a key point on this corner. Why dude hooked up the shit? Well, almost 5 minutes runs by and they say, hey, come on. I go back to the cell and dude hands me a needle, syringe, loaded, ready to roll. And I go, whoa, I don't shoot dope, man. And they start talking in Spanish. And he's like, Rob, this is the way, man, you don't want to do it no other way. I go, fuck, I don't do needles. He's like, man, it ain't going to kill you. And I'm like, is that one of the fucking dirty syringes? And he's like, no, it's a new one. He pulls out the plastic wrap. Sure enough, it was one of the new ones. And I'm like, man, I don't want it. No way. Looking back, had I just said, hey, man, just squirt it from the syringe into the spoon, I don't know if I've ever would have shot dope. Because I was scared to death of it. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't scared of needles because as a kid, I used to go get allergy shots twice a week. So the needle thing, needles don't bother me. Drawing blood, all that shit, none of that stuff bothers me. But shooting narcotics, like I said, it was more of a mental thing. It was just like, you're in the gutter now, Rob. Well, he talked me into it. Talked me into it. I remember sticking my arm out. I'm just going to show for the camera. I stick my arm out, told me to squeeze my thing. And I was like, oh, my heart was beating so fast. And I swear I was so fucking scared. Dude goes, you ready? And I said, yeah, he puts it in. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to die. Like saying prayers probably, Hail Mary, full of grace. I went to Catholic school. And whatever I was doing, boom. Dude hits me. Felt the prick. The pinprick. Felt the prick. Boom. And all of a sudden, I just remember and that's what it was. And Rob looks at me and smiles. And I just go, wow. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. And they just started laughing, man. We had to go. And I remember I had to go put the dope away. Walking, we cut across the grass. Chino's huge. See, that place back then was huge. They built a bunch of stuff in the center of it now. But there was like a football field, a baseball field, 2 soccer fields. It was like 1.5 miles around or something. I think that's what it was. Huge. I remember walking across the grass and feeling like I was floating on air. And it was It was the best feeling I've ever had in my life. And that's the truth. And I know that people hear that and they're like, you should never say that because of kids and everything. And I disagree totally. That was, honest to God, the best feeling in my life. And that is what makes heroin and shooting up so bad. Because once you've done it, everything else is second best. It doesn't matter if you're clean. It does not matter if you're clean. Everything else in life is second best. And that's the happiest moments. Watching your kids open up Christmas presents, falling in love, having a beautiful wife, like all that. That's really fucked up, you know? And I know that hurts my wife when she hears that. Of course it would. But that's the truth. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah. Like I wish I can feel that good every day. Of course I don't want to be on drugs no more. Of course I wouldn't go back and do that again. Of course I'd never stick another needle in my arm. And I mean never. But you know, and I didn't expect to say this and then just like feel like I just did talking about it, but it's the truth. And that was the danger. That's the danger of it all. And it was like that day, it's like, you know, after that time, that was it. That was it. You always want to get that happy again, and you never really do. Now, you can get close, you know, when you keep doing it and stuff like that. But that was the first time I shot dope. After that, I went and got my own outfit, syringe, rig, needle, gear, whatever you want to call it. And probably shot dope, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 more times, something like that. And I'm going to end this video and I'm going to tell another story that goes with this. Bye.